Terracana by Remus Ebenhart, Chapter 5, Settling In. I watch as the landscape passes us by. I hear the sound of my wooden staff bump against my iron boot and turn to see Luna hold it for a curious glance. Tell us, Sir Stormsword, what purpose does this serve? Is it a fancy walking stick? Luna asked me. I chuckled, which seemed to have irritated her. No, it is not a walking stick. It acts as a focus for my magic. I can channel elements through it to the amethyst at the top. This staff can double the effectiveness of my spells, so I kindly ask you not to damage it, please. It's the only one of its kind here now, I tell her. She looks at it wide-eyed and gently places it back next to me. Celestia then speaks up. From what I gathered from your memory, you wish to be a high-ranking battle mage, catch or eliminate outlaws and criminals, she asked me. Yes, I believe you also saw the reason why, I replied. She had solemnly nodded. That I did. It is a tragedy I wish no point had to go through, she says. Luna looks like she wants to know, but keeps quiet. For the next few minutes, I just watch the land go by. I see a lake with a small cottage nearby, which looks like a small boat next to it. I eventually fall asleep from the relaxing ride. POV Celestia. I watch Adrian closely. He looks so calm and peaceful. Do thou think we can trust him? Luna asked me. I believe so. He had a rough past from what I saw of his memories, but a kind and strong personality, I replied to her. What I neglected to mention was that he'd been alone for the last few years of his life. No friends, lovers, or family. Yet he still pushes on. I know he starts frowning with discomfort. Luna, can you see what he is dreaming about? I asked my sister. Very well, she replies, and places her right hand on Adrian's head. After a few minutes, Luna gasps, removes her hand, her eye starts to get moist, quickly rubs away with a handkerchief. What's the matter, Luna? I ask, concerned. She looks at me with a sad expression. He feels so alone, and the fact just being here seems to increase that feeling, she tells me. If anybody knows that feeling better than any other, it's Luna. Then we just have to be as friendly as we possibly can to him. Help him fit in at the castle, I tell her, and look back to Adrian, who's now isn't frowning anymore. I take it you gave him a nicer dream, I ask her. She smiles and nodded. That we did. Now he dreams of a future with friends and possibly more, she replies. I smile and watch the scenery go by in silence. POV Adrian POV Adrian Sword. POV Adrian Stormsword. Sir Stormsword? We have arrived at Canterlot, I hear a voice say, bringing me out of my strange dream. I yawn and stretch my limbs, then look out the window to see a city on the side of a mountain. It is not the it is not as big as the capital of Rimor, but it certainly looked grander. Buildings are white with deep purple roofs dot the whole city. Deep purple roofs dot the whole city. I look to the left and spot a castle that will put Remors to shame. Tall towers are white with roofs of purple and gold over the city. Reach up over the city. We land within a tall wall next to the castle, and the doors open up with what looks like a couple of maids holding the doors open. Welcome back, your majesties, they say in unison. The left one has light pink fur and blonde hair, while the other has green fur and purple hair. I just now I only just noticed that these ponies have marks on the back of their hands, and the pink one has a dead feather duster, and the other has a stack of clothing neatly piled. The princesses steps out, and the princesses step out, and the maids close doors on me. I bust out laughing at I bust out laughing at humor in it. They didn't even notice me. I hear a pa- I hear a pale gasp, and the doors open again. I step out with my staff in hand and smile at the maids, who blush with embarrassment while looking down. I walk over to the princesses with a smile. I apologize for that. They weren't expecting us to bring somebody back with us. Celestia tells me with the hint, faintest hint, faintest hints of a giggle. It's all right. I found it amusing, I replied with a grin. Two maids walk over to us. We are very sorry about that, sir, the pink one says, as they both bow. It's fine. No harm done, I tell them, and come back to Celestia. So what do we do now? I ask her. Thy lack of manners is somewhat refreshing, if we are to be honest, Luna says. I take it everyone treats you like if they upset you, you were punish them for it, I ask. Celeste sighs. Yes, or to gain some sort of position of power or status, replies Celeste replies with a sad expression and a slight shake of her head. I stand in front of her and hold my hand out to her. Well, rest assured, I ask no such thing from you as long I have a roof over my head, 3 meals a day, and a place to practice my swordsmanship and magic. I'll be happy, I tell her. She smiles at me and shakes my hand. Speaking of a roof over your head, she says, looking towards the castle, you're welcome to stay in one of the guest rooms if you like. She offers me. Wow, a free stay in the castle? Who would refuse such an offer? I would like that, Celestia. Thank you. I reply with a shout. I reply with a slight bow. I reply with a slight bow. That's Princess Celestia to you, peasant. A voice next to my right says. A voice to my right says. I look to see the source. I look to the source and see a gray man with comb back black hair and a horn. He has a pompous-looking scarlet outfit with gold trimmings and the puffy frilly pieces on his upper arms and thighs. I can't help but snicker at him. It looks ridiculous, if not uncomfortable. He looks at me with disgust before turning back to Celestia. Princess, there's a matter of importance that requires your immediate attention, he says. Well, he says, passing a scroll over to her. She takes the scroll, but I can see from the slight frown on her face towards the man. She takes the scroll, but I see a slight frown on her face towards the man. She opens the scroll and reads it, and another sigh leaves her lips. They continue. They continue to demand that we send them some of our ponies at a delicacy or risk war. They continue to demand that we send them some of our ponies at a delicacy or risk war. Joseph mutters in a whisper. What the? Someone is actually demanding Slessor to send people to get eaten? Who in the who in the hell would demand such a thing? Very well. I shall be in my office should I be needed, she says, rolling the scroll back up. Luna, will you please escort our friend here to his room, please? Celeste says to her sister, which caused the man to swiftly breathe in wide eyes. I gave him a smirk. Of course, sister. Come, Adrian, we shall show thee where thou shalt be staying, she tells me, and I follow behind her. The interior of the castle is breathtaking. Finely polished marble walls and floor, tapestries adorn the walls with beautiful patterns and stained glass windows with what look to be snippets of this land's history. We head up some stairs to a long curved hallway with large with large doorways along it. We stop at a door with the number 5. This shall be thy room while thou live here, Luna tells me. I open the door and look inside. My mouth drops at the splendor of it. A large circular bed lies in the middle of the room, with drawable curtains around it. Next to the right is a door and a dresser. To the left is a desk with paper and writing utensils on it. A comfortable-looking chair is in front of the desk, and landscape paintings decorate the walls. I notice the doors. I notice the doors to a balcony behind the bed. I close my mouth and look at the princess. Giggling princess. It's amazing, I tell her. Just do not make a mess while thou live here. If thou needst directions, just ask a guard or a maid, and they shall guide thee, she says. I notice a guard, not too far away, standing at attention just down the hallway. Thank you, both you and your sister. I wasn't sure what I would have done if you hadn't come too. Or where was it again? Ponyfield? I say and ask. She nodded with a smile. Yes, Ponyfield. We are just as glad thou art nothing like the last human to come here, she replies. I frown and thought for a few seconds. Who was this other human? I ask her. She sighs and gestures into the room. We both enter and she takes a seat on a couch that I didn't notice just right just right next to right just to the right of the door. I sit on the edge of the bed. His name was Graga, a powerful necromancer who raised an army of the dead. We suffered heavy losses when he invaded our kingdom 1,200 years ago, but with the aid of the elements of harmony, we managed to seal him within stone and lock him away in the deepest pits of torture, he tells me. I frown for a few seconds, then my eyes widen at realization. Wait, you say you sealed him away over 1,000 years ago? That's mean your that's mean that means you as well as are. I say, but she interrupts. Yes, yes, yes. We are over 1,000 years old, she tells me. I shake my head after after staying for a few seconds. Well, you look great for your age, I say without thinking. She barely blushes under her dark blue fur. We thank thee for the compliment, she says and stands up. We we must head back to our sister. We must head back to aid our sister. If thou need anything, just ask a maid or guard. She tells me and quickly heads for the door. After she left, I remove my pack and place it next to the dresser. I walk over to the balcony and step outside. The sun is high above my head and looks just about noon as I gaze across the city. Winged ponies fly across the skies towards their destinations. some carrying items or pulling carriages. I looked down and spot what looked like to be a training ground. An obstacle course, practice dummies, and sparring rings are set up with with a large, long building to the side of it all. I watched as the guards trained below me. Some of the horned ones are shooting bolts of magic at the targets. I wonder what other spells they can cast. From what I'm seeing, my magic is much more from what I'm seeing, my magic is much more effective for combat. I kind of want to go down there and join them, if only to see what else they can do. I leave my pack in the room, but keep my sword and staff with me. I leave the room and ask the guard just down the hall to guide me down to the training grounds. He simply nodded and told me to follow. The trip was silent as he didn't speak a word, even if I asked even after I asked for his name. Once we arrived, he just pointed to the grounds and left. I walked over to the large building and entered. The inside looks similar to the Ponyville barracks, just bigger. What do we have here? A snobbish sounding voice asked. I turned to see a ice blue bird man with silver hair that has a light blue streak going through it and a horn. He wearing guard armor, has one of those gems on a handle, like the one I saw, like the one I saw in Ponyville on his right hip. That's some rather and and neat and antique looking armor you have there, he says in an insulting tone. I frowned at him. It was my father's, I replied calmly. Yes, well, why is a strange looking creature like you here? This is the guard training grounds, not some tourist spot, he says. I asked whoever was in charge here if I could use the facilities to practice my skills, I replied. I asked whoever was in charge here if I could use the facilities to practice my skills, I replied. And what skills will a commoner like you have? Do you even know how to use that sword? He asked with a smug smile. Judging from his attitude, he is wealthy, racist, or noble. I draw my sword and chant two fire elements through it and point the blade at him. His eyes widen as the blade has a fiery aura around it. Want to find out? I reply. Stand down, the both of you. Of course, stand down, the both of you. A voice says behind me. I cancel the fire elements and the flames fade away. I turn to see a white-furred man with two-tone blue hair and a horn in what looked like a fancy uniform. What and what looks like a fancy military uniform. Who are you? And what are you? He asked me. Adrian Adrian Stormsword, sir. I am a human. I replied and seized my sword. All right. And why are you all here? He asked again. I want to ask permission to use the facilities here. Facilities here, I replied. Oh, you're a member of the guard or planning to join? He asked with a raised eyebrow. With a raised brow. Neither. I just arrived around 30 minutes ago with the princesses. I'm staying at the castle until I find something to do that I could practice my magic and swordsmanship here until then. I tell him. I tell him. He hums and thought. What kind of magic you specialize in? He asks with curiosity. The other man interrupts. Sir, You can't be thinking of letting this calendar, who isn't who isn't even a guard, to be here, he says, clearly not liking the idea of me even being here. That's up that's up to me to decide. You're dismissed until your shift later. Frostbite. Frostbite. The blue haired man replies. Frostbite snorts and walks out. Sorry about that. Most novels think they can most novels think they can order portal ponies around. I'm signing armor, by the way, he says, holding a hand out. I shake his hand, already liking the guy. Nice to meet you. As for speciality, I use a different kind of magic than yours. Would you like a demonstration? I ask him. He smiles. Different magic? Different kind of magic, huh? Sure. Let's see what you got. He stepped out and head to the target range.